Yo, what's going on everyone? So in today's video we're going to be talking about African cichlid care. Basically what I mean is some tips and tricks and some do's and don'ts before you get into the African cichlid world. So to start off, there's three main groups of African cichlids: peacocks, haps, and mbunas. Peacocks and haps tend to be a little bit bigger than mbunas, and they also prefer a larger tank with more open water swimming area. Whereas in Mbuna, they prefer to dwell among rocks and other decorations and hidings. Mbunas are usually strictly herbivores, which means they prefer to eat a plant-based diet. Lots of algae, lots of live plants, anything green, they will absolutely love it. Whereas in peacocks and haps, we'll eat insects, small fish, and vegetables. Most cichlid foods that they sell in stores are very high in protein and not very high in fiber. So that'll be better for your peacocks and haps. But if you want to get Mbuna, I recommend getting some algae-based, veggie-based foods. And on top of that, feeding them live vegetables. So if you're not sure what to feed your cichlids, I did make a video of the best cichlid foods in my opinion. I also talk about what I feed my Mbuna to keep them alive and healthy. If you want to check that out, it'll be in the top right corner. Now, a lot of people say not to mix Mbunas and peacocks and haps all together, but that's what I do in my personal tank, and it works out just fine. There can be aggression issues, but if you study the fish and really learn how to curve aggression, you can get away with it. Some of the best ways to curve aggression are to overstock your tank and have a tank large enough to suit all the fish that you have in there. Now, if you plan to overstock your tank, you definitely need to plan to overfilter your tank. Now, for tank size, the smallest size tank that I'd recommend for African cichlids is a 55-gallon. Now, you could probably keep Mbunas in there for their full life and they would be okay. But for peacocks and haps, they get a lot bigger and they need more room than that to swim. So for full-grown peacocks and haps, I'd recommend a tank of 6 feet in length. Just like with any other fish, the bigger you go, the better for the fish. So I'd recommend getting the biggest size tank you can have. I have a 150-gallon tank, which is 6 feet long, 2 feet tall, and it is very good for them, and they can live their full life in here. Do I want to upgrade someday? Probably, but this tank is perfectly suitable for the amount of fish I have. Now let's talk about filtration. African cichlids are pretty large fish, and they do poop a lot. They also eat a lot. So that means there's going to be a lot more waste in your tank, and you'll have to either have very good filtration or constantly be changing the water. So I'd recommend over-filtering your tank at least 10 times the volume of water an hour. What I mean by that is if you have a 100-gallon tank, you want to be pushing 1,000 gallons an hour through your filters. So African cichlids prefer a high pH, somewhere between 7.8 and 8.5. They are also tropical fish, which means they definitely need a heater. They prefer temperatures from 72 to 82, but I'd stay more near the 80s side. Another thing is that African cichlids are very territorial and they will fight over their territory, so it's good to have a large tank and lots of different areas for them to call their own, and lots of things that break the line of sight so that they can get away if they need to. Now let's talk about tank mates. I personally don't like to keep anything other than African cichlids with my African cichlids. But as you can see, I do have 2 large plecos in my cichlid tank and they do just fine. Also, another thing I see a lot of people add with cichlids are large clown loaches. I've never done that, but I've seen lots of videos and lots of people that do it just fine. So honestly, it just takes your time and your effort. If you're going to put something with your cichlids, make sure to watch over it constantly for like the first 2 to 3 weeks. And if it's not going well, definitely remove that other fish. So that's it for this video. If I forgot anything, be sure to comment below and let me know. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Basically, if you want to keep African cichlids, just make sure you have the right size tank. Make sure you choose which of the 3 type you're going to get, or if you're going to mix them, and make sure you give them the proper diet. Other than that, worry about filtration, make sure you do your water changes, and you should have some nice, healthy, colorful African cichlids. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video.